Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I'm going to be showing you a fun new Pokemon tool that is going to be coming out in the Burning Shadows expansion. It is the weirdly titled Muscle Dumbbells. Not sure if that's going to survive the translation, but as it is, Muscle Dumbbells just sounds a little bit weird. Now, it is a Pokemon tool. You attach it to one of your Pokemon, as long as they don't already have a tool attached. And if it's a Stage 1 Pokemon, it gets an extra 40 HP. You can attach it to a non-Stage 1 Pokemon, a Basic, a Stage 2, a Mega, etc. It just won't actually do anything. But it'll still sit there happily. Now, the question is this actually any good? Well, it's kind of like fighting Fury Belt, but it's for Stage 1s rather than basic Pokemon, and it doesn't do the extra 10 damage. So at least until Fighting Fury Belt rotates, Fighting Fury Belt for basics is just plain a better option than Muscle Dumbbells for Stage 1s. And it is kind of odd to me that this is for Stage 1s, not just evolution Pokemon in general, because we've seen in the past that Pokemon, they want to either help the basics or they want to help the evolutions. I mean, if we have a look at the Training Center Stadium from Furious Fist, now this rotated a little while ago, but this gave all of your Stage 1 and Stage 2 Pokemon an extra 30 HP. So it is slightly odd to me that they haven't made this for all evolve, they've just made it for Stage 1s. Apparently they want to help Stage 1s. So I suppose the question becomes now, what good Stage 1s do we have? Well, the two that most people have pointed out straight away, and I can't blame them for this, are Garbodor and Sylveon. Now, Garbodor is the Stage 1 that is currently taking the Stormat by form, and I've done a couple of videos about Garbodor explaining exactly why this should be, and unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your point of view, I seem to be being right about this. Not that it was some massive crazy prediction. It makes sense. For a single Psychic Energy on a Stage 1, you do 20 damage for each item card in your opponent's discard pile. That adds up very, very quickly. Now, one of the good things about Garbodor, at least playing against Garbodor, he's only got 120 HP. So something like a Laurentiis comes along, second attack doing 120, gets an easy one-hit KO and life is good. Something like a Lycanroc GX Midnight form comes along with a single strong energy, gets the KO, we're doing okay. Something like a Raichu comes along with a full bench and a Professor Kukui, and we've got the KO. And here's the issue here against Garbodor. 120 is pretty easy to hit. 160 is not. Now, there are a couple of issues with playing this in terms of Choice Band and Field Blower. We'll get to those points in just a moment. Please don't think I've forgotten. We've also got Sylveon Gx, this new card that is very much, it's on the rise. It's not taking the format by storm yet like Garbodor is, but it is seeing a bunch of play. It's going to continue to see a bunch of play. And Sylveon, as a Stage 1 GX, has 200 HP. And remember that Sylveon is, kind of the whole point of it is that it's like a disruption deck. You play cards like Crushing Hammer and Delinquent to try and slow your opponent down, hoping they can't KO you. Well, going from 200 to 240 HP is quite a big deal. It's really going to help Sylveon, and Sylveon doesn't need Choice Band because it's generally using Fairy Wind to two-hit KO everything. So Sylveon might be one of the better uses for Muscle Dumbbells. We could look at a Alolan Ninetales GX. Now, this is a particularly fun use for Muscle Dumbbells, because Alolan Ninetales has 210 HP. Sounds pretty good. But the GX attack here, Ice Path GX, if it's got any damage on it, you can just move it over to the defending Pokemon. Which means that if you don't one-hit KO Alolan Ninetales GX, they can move all that damage back to you. And 250 HP, and don't forget, of course, that Alolan Ninetales, like all water Pokemon, can use Rough Seas here to heal 30 damage per turn. 250 HP healing 30 per turn, it's going to be very difficult to KO something like a Alolan Ninetales GX, and that may well be the best use of the card here. Now we've got Raichu, but again, Raichu's got such a low HP it might not really make much difference. We've got Sylveon Gx, but the crippling weakness to Garbodor means that Sylveon's HP is not as high as we might like. We've got the aforementioned Lycanroc Midnight form, but again, that's a card that we're probably going to want to be using Choice Band on more than anything else. We've got Gyarados. Now, Gyarados is a very interesting one, because Gyarados not only is in need of extra HP like all of these Pokemon, but has the fated double ancient trait, which means that Gyarados can actually have more than one Pokemon tool attached to him at any one time. That sounds like a lot of fun, so you can actually have 2 muscle dumbbells on Gyarados and have an extra 80 HP. Or indeed, you could have a muscle dumbbells and a choice band attached to him. Something to bear in mind. We've also got Laurentiis, but as I said in my video the other day with Laurentiis, choice band really is going to be the play here to make sure you hit those numbers. And Vespiquen. And as much as I love Vespiquen, and I do, and I would be stunned if I didn't play a fair bit of Vespiquen this coming format, you must bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that Vespiquen's only got 90 HP, so putting it up to 130 isn't going to be great, and Vespiquen is probably going to want to use Choice Band. So while we're here, and I've alluded to it a couple of times, let's go full bore into this discussion. If you're playing muscle dumbbells, you cannot also have a choice band attached. You can play choice band in your deck as well. It's going to take up a fair bit of room, but you can. But you cannot attach both of them to the same Pokemon at the same time, unless you're playing Gyarados, in which case you actually can. So you've got to make a choice here, and this is a little bit awkward. Now, don't forget you can use Field Blower on your own Pokemon, so you can use something like a Field Blower to get rid of your muscle dumbbells, then attach a choice band to get the KO. Or having got the KO, you could use Field Blower to get rid of choice band and then add on a muscle dumbbells to try and get yourself a bit of extra HP for the following turn. Yeah, quite nice. Here's the real problem. Field Blower. Field Blower gets rid of this. And this is why, one of the main reasons, I think this is so much weaker than Choice Band. Because when you attach a Choice Band, you attach it, do the extra 30 damage to EXs or GXs, and maybe your opponent then plays a Field Blower, but that's okay. You've already gotten one turn of benefit from your Choice Band. But you attach your muscle dumbbells, you pass your turn, your opponent plays a Field Blower, and then goes and gets a KO, and your muscle dumbbells has done nothing for you. Choice Band, you get the benefit on your turn. Muscle dumbbells, you get the benefit on your opponent's turn, which means they can always play something like a Field Blower and make sure that you never get any benefit from it at all. Of course, the other thing your opponent can do is just take the hit and not get the KO. And then on the following turn, they play a Field Blower to get rid of the muscle dumbbells, and then you get KO'd mid-turn. And I've talked about this with cards like Decidueye in the past. Getting a mid-turn KO is awesome. You get 2 extra prizes, or an extra prize to use that turn. You force your opponent to put a new active Pokemon out, if you KO'd the active. And it puts you in a really nice position. And something I find interesting here, Pokemon's showing a bit more love to evolutions lately. We did see in the past Fighting Fury, Bout, Max Elixir all coming out to help basics. But now we've got this. We saw Forest of Giant Plants before. We've got Choice Band to hurt EXs and GXs. We seem to be being pushed towards an evolutions heavy format, especially with all the GXs being evolutions now. And we're seeing a bit of love for that. The problem is, and you can say it's a problem or not, I don't really mind one way or the other, but we're now making Stage 1 GXs kind of like Stage 2s. Because Stage 2 GXs always had 240 or 250, and Stage 1s had 200 or 210. And you'll notice that adding a muscle dumbbells puts them up to 240 or 250, just like Stage 2 GXs. Although, of course, as I've said previously, the Stage 1 GXs can have the HP of Stage 2s. But they don't get to use Choice Band as well. Ultimately, this is kind of like Assault Vest. And I think my advice here is the same as Assault Vest. Assault Vest was really good if you expected to be playing against a bunch of Pokemon using Special Energy. Muscle Dumbbells is quite good if you're going to be playing a whole bunch of Stage 1 Pokemon, but here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen, you lose Choice Band, you lose Float Stone. That's the biggest issue here, and honestly, Choice Band is by far the bigger issue. For that reason, I'm going to give it between 2 and 3 Wassies. I don't think it's a bad card, I do think it will see play, but if I'm playing a Garbodor deck tomorrow, I'm playing Choice Band so I can hit the numbers and get big KOs. If I'm playing a Vespiquen deck tomorrow, I'm playing Choice Band so I can hit numbers and get the big KOs. And that's what I'm going to be feeling about a whole bunch of Stage 1s. Laurentiis. I told you I thought Laurentiis might be the best deck, and if I was playing at Birmingham Regionals rather than commentating, I'm 90% sure I'd be playing Laurentiis. And if Muscle Dumbbells was released at that point, I wouldn't be playing it, I'd still be playing Muscle Band. Now, you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen, there is a comment section. Go nuts, be nice. There are buttons to both like this video and subscribe to this channel. Use them both, it will make me happy. Follow me on Twitter @TheWassie, and the most important thing as always is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.